was just thinking about why some people, like scientists, make up the, they create or say something like they believe that everything began with a big bang. I'm not sure if they just deduced that. How did they get to that point where they came up with that and put it in a book and then taught it to everybody? Did they go backward and, like, by everything they observed in their scientific experiments and stuff? I don't know how they came up with everything began with a big bang in the universe or something like that. And then, but then I think it's sort of like a faith thing with science. And then there's like the other religious type faith where you believe because of everything, a few things that were written down, not everything was probably written down. Some things were just spoken, some things might have been written down, and some things not written down in a book or in books that some people gathered together and put together in one book called the Bible, where you have to have faith that everything began in the beginning with God making things and creation, everything before man and animals, and then man and animals. I wonder if God made animals first. He might have. Did he make animals first and then people? And I was wondering why are there so many different races? Like they all look different, and we know that they speak different because the Tower of Babel and how the languages all changed from one language on the earth to a whole ton of languages. I guess later on, after time passed, the languages divided up even further, probably to different dialects, which became different languages. You know how some are similar, like Spanish, Italian, Mexican Spanish, and then Spanish from Spain, and Italian, Italy. You know, they're all similar, but they're a little bit different. So they might have come from a main one before they broke up into several. But the big main one might have been Hebrew. I'm not sure. That might have been the very first one. Also, it's interesting that languages came from there's values for the letters, like Hebrew. They have values, number values, and how they work with each other. And so it shows, I guess it shows a creator. It shows intelligent design. Just wanted to mention something about how I felt about why people believe in certain things, why we believe and what we believe, and who decided to come up with Big Bang, or God created in the Bible, the beginning, a certain time, and why there's so much time differences between the scientific faith and of the creation, like the Big Bang and everything in the world being millions of billions of years old, where in the Bible, creation is only like a few thousand years ago, if that, or a little bit further than that, but not billions of years old as people think. Today's still the July 2nd, 2022. I keep feeling electrical vibrations. I don't know if it's from fans, refrigerators, all appliances in the household. Usually when you're in the ground you don't feel it so much. It's only in your house. It sometimes makes you want to go outside, but we don't really live outside all day long. We kind of stay inside a lot. But we have to deal with this vibrations feeling under your feet throughout your whole body, low vibrations. Like, I'm sure if the power went off, we probably wouldn't feel it anymore, but we wouldn't have refrigeration, wouldn't have a way to cool down, air conditioning and fans and all that stuff. And I mean, there's peace when there's a lot less, vibration going through your body, making you feel shaky. I even tried laying down on my bed and, lifting up my hands, arms and feet, and I could feel my legs and arms, they were vibrating and, in mid-air, because probably coming through the bed up through my back and up into all my body. At that moment, I was thinking about, when we're in heaven, when we're floating, stuff. But I don't really want to float. I'm not sure why we would just float there, but if that's just the way it is in heaven, I don't know. As a spirit, maybe. Maybe as a spirit, you just kind of float in the presence of God. And maybe you get that good, warm feeling from God and the love. But I'm sure there's some place to walk around and be on land up there too, with grass and houses, and there's peace and everything. There's no war and no fighting, no meanness, like no weeds, people weeds. And I also thought about how I wondered how would you because you tell the gospel, the good news to other people, you want peace and you don't want war, and you want everybody to get along, and I don't want bad things to happen. And how do you, you have to, because other people have different religions and ways they believe in God. Anyways, I was wondering about, people with different faiths and their belief in a God. Because most of the time you aren't going to change anybody's mind because they've grown up with it. Their whole generations of family members, and them learning things about their relatives in the past. I mean, as a believer in Jesus, we should live in peace with them, because Native Americans, I think they believe in God, even though they call it their mother. I think because they have a society that's more like, where the mother is the head and not the father. I'm not sure why. It's not for me to judge anybody, anyways. So this part where it's really complicated, because you shouldn't force anything on anybody. If they were wanting to know God the Father or Jesus, they would be drawn to Him and to His Word. So it's best to live at peace with all people and not fight, to keep everybody happy and safe and not hurt each other. I know in the Bible it talks about how they used to go and kill people a lot and have a lot of wars. Even today we've had wars. I mean, people say history repeats itself. Some things are new though, because technology changes, or did we lose technology and then have to regain it back again? Like when they talk about Atlantis sinking, maybe because they had gotten too technological and more too advanced in it, that whatever technology they started using or developed made it sink into the sea, and maybe that was God's judgment on them for what they were doing. And maybe it was against nature. Maybe it's not good to go against things in nature. since there's laws in nature. There seems to be a lot of dark things in our world, hidden dark things. There's pleasure and pain. There's pain and pleasure. Use and abuse, but pleasureful things in this world. What do you do with that kind of stuff? Do we leave it? Do we just is it judged or is it not judged? Is it left to be as it is, as it has been for many years? Left for individuals to learn their own lessons in their lives? As it seems to be. Seems like God doesn't intervene really. Most of the time he seems to just let things be as they are, and man learns these things over time, whether it changes him to turn to the good path or he just continues on evil path without any payment for any sin, actually. And how is a man supposed to be perfect anyways? Since they're in their flesh body. It's very hard to ignore your flesh. Married men enjoy their wives. Wives in their bodies enjoy their husbands. In a physical sense. They're not just spiritual. They're not like they don't have any relations. Is it a sin for them to have relations? And is it a sin for them to be married in their minds and not by the state? And that would be, by the state, that would be considered out of marriage relations, but to God, if in their minds they're married, to God they are married, even though they don't have any paper by the state. Because one time a person told me that anytime I was with somebody, God considered that I was married to that person. Any boyfriend or anything. I was actually married because of the relations, being intimate with that person. So, that's some of the questions I have about, how God doesn't intervene in these things, and he just lets them be. And I guess man himself determines whether he wants to seek God in his own life, and because the Father draws him, and he wants to try and do his best to live for him, for God. And then he makes himself holy by trying his best not to have, be in a sinful type of situation, even though his flesh might desire it.